right, good evening, and thank you so much for coming this evening. We know that you probably have some questions, and we'll stick around after to answer any questions that the presentation does not entail. My name is Rhonda Davis. I work for the school district. I'm in special programs, and we have some other people that we will introduce to you in just a minute. But first, I want to show you a video of our kids, of some of our kids who gave us some feedback after they took the PSAT in October, just 3 or 4 months ago. So I'm going to let you watch that and see what they said about what they needed in order to do better, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do for our students in Garland ISD to meet their needs.
First time I walked into the class to take the PSAT, I was pretty intimidated. I mean, I didn't really know much about it.
It's just test taking and test taking strategies that we need to go over before I take it again, because it was just so much material to cover in so little time.
So I didn't really think I would need to prepare quite as much as I did, but once I started into it, I realized there were all these things that I kind of knew I should have been doing, but I thought they would take too much time.
So I believe that the school should provide us an extra period to take a practice PSAT test, and the teacher should give us practice tests for if we want to take it at home.
And we should have more resources like Khan Academy, and if we had like our own account, we could have like personalized results and things so that we know exactly where we need to work on.
I took the PSAT kind of blindly, and that was the old format. So even though I did decently, I still felt that I could do a lot better.
And I learned a lot of techniques and answering questions and how to identify the types of questions.
But I think just the main thing is, preparing slow, like practice tests to deal with the time crunch and how to deal with it better. If they could give that to us in class, that would help me a lot.
I mean, these teachers here are pretty awesome, but the PSAT was challenging for most of us.
So we showed this video to 2 groups of teachers that we had today. Some of our middle school and high school teachers were here, so all in all we had between 600 and 700 teachers here in 2 different meetings this afternoon that we talked about PSAT and Khan Academy with also. So we want to share some deeper information about what you can do as parents this evening, and students, those of you who are here this evening as well, what you can do just on your own to better prepare yourself for those college readiness skills that you need. I want to recognize before we get started with the program, I know that we have at least one of our school board members here this evening. Miss Griffin is over here. If you'll wave and stand, thank you. Thank you for being here. Do we have any other school board members that I may have missed when they came in? Okay, thank you. Well, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Morrison. He accused me of making him look bad because I made him follow kids on the video, but that wasn't my intent at all. So we really appreciate that he's here tonight to speak to you guys, and he has a good message for you as well.
Good evening. All right, let's try that again. Good evening. All right. One of the great things that's going on in the district is our emphasis on college readiness. And one of the privileges I had this year, I was able to go to a meeting. It was a Superintendent's Advisory Council for the College Board. About 25 superintendents from all over the United States got together, and they shared a bunch of information. Based upon that meeting, I came back and I talked to Dr. Davis and her group, and I said, listen, we're doing a great job, but there are some things that we can do and we can do better to meet the needs of our kids. So what you're going to find out tonight are some of the opportunities that are out there, and specifically as parents, what you can do, and as students, what you can do. As many of you may or may not know, and this is, since we are filming this, and hopefully people will get to watch it that weren't here tonight, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but for the last couple years, the district has paid for all 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade PSAT tests. And the reason for that is we want all of our students to have that experience to take that test. In addition, on March the 2nd, the 11th graders will be taking the SAT, and the district pays 100% of that as well. And so one of the things that we're adamantly trying to focus on is we're sitting here trying to say, are our students ready? And if they're not, what kind of resources can we provide? Now, next year, starting at the high school students, whether you knew this or not, you'll be given a device. Most likely it's going to be an iPad. And on that iPad, you will have the opportunity to have the Khan Academy and the SAT app on your iPad. So everything that we're talking about that you're going to be able to access right now, next year for all high school students, you'll be able to do that when you go home at night. Now, one of the things that the Khan Academy and the College Board have done is they've partnered. And so this just isn't about the PSAT. This is about the AP test. So if your student is considering taking an AP test, one of the things that the College Board is going to do is they're going to do a full service model of basically tutoring. And it's going to be covered within the current cost of the AP test. Some of the things that students will be able to do is there will be modular units with assessments. There will be short building block assessments, so practice. And then you can practice at the Khan Academy. And then there's also essay practice, and there's also teacher practice videos. So it's professional development for the teachers as well. One of the exciting things, College Board is the one that comes up with the AP test. So if I'm an AP, say American History teacher, they create the test. Now, on this practice session that our students will be able to enroll in now and get and practice on, the same professionals that put together the AP History test also will put together 4 practice tests. So the students practice the test, and with technology now, you take a picture of the test on your phone, you submit it into the College Board, it immediately gets graded, they send it to the Khan Academy, and the Khan Academy immediately creates a study session for you to improve on that AP test. So you as a parent no longer have to go pay somebody for tutoring sessions for the AP test. It also does the same thing for the PSAT. So my daughter is in 8th grade, and so we got her results from the PSAT. So now at her school, she will be enrolled. She will take her information from that PSAT, enroll in the College Board, enroll into the Khan Academy. Then the College Board will access her scores from the PSAT and create an individualized study program so she can get ready for the 9th grade test. Ultimately, for the hope that someday she may or may not become a national merit semifinalist or finalist. And that's the ultimate goal. So where in the past, you get the test results, and as a parent, you would look at it and you go, so what does an 850 mean, or what does a 900 mean? And you still probably ask yourself that same question. But now you can go into a program, and it will not only tell you what it means, it will tell you what they did well in and where they did not do so well, and then they will give you the study sessions to help you get there. One of the things the district's done this year is, this is the first year we've done this, we are actually paying for all the AP test and the IB test this year. So no longer, if I have a student that's taking an AP class, does the student have to wonder, can I afford to take that test? The district's going to cover the cost. So kind of summarizing, if you think about this, starting in the 8th grade, the district pays for the PSAT, the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th to prepare them for that SAT test, which is the qualifying test to get into the major universities. We also pay for the SAT test. Then we also, if you're in those upper level classes, will pay for your AP or your IB, International Baccalaureate test, also getting ready for college ready. So the commitment is there from the district. There are no obstacles anymore, especially when we go to 101 devices next year for high school. The following year, 101 devices will go to all middle school students. So all the obstacles are removed. We need one thing. We need you to partner with us. We need you as the parents to take the time to go online and have your student from time to time practice. Practice makes perfect, or actually perfect practice makes perfect. Practice. You're going to see some slides that are going to say if you practice a certain number of hours, what the results are going to be. And I'm a firm believer with hard work comes great results. So, you know, we have administration, we have school board, we have everybody committed for your child to be as successful as possible. And so hopefully after what you hear tonight, you will get on board with us. And for the students, get after it. Get going. Take the opportunity. Take the time. Practice, practice, practice. Because for many students, you do well enough on that SAT, your college can be paid for. All right? And so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to them. Just know that there's going to be several of us standing around at the end of this, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Okay, I am not as tall as Dr. Morrison. Not standing on a stool am I as tall as Dr. Morrison. The school district is committed to helping every student get every opportunity they possibly can get. In any way we can open doors for them, we're going to do that. In September, we had a meeting at each of the high schools about the value of taking the PSAT test before the students took it. And at that time, we told you there are benefits of taking the PSAT. Benefits like knowing where you stand in your college readiness preparation. Advantages like getting free resources to use. And now you've taken the test and you have your scores, but you don't really have some of these advantages yet. And the key is to getting your scores and looking at them and understanding it. That's where you have to start. So how do you get your scores? Students may access their PSAT scores online, and there will also be a paper score report. As I understand it, some students have their paper score reports right now and some do not. You can expect to get those probably within the next week or so. But the online score reports are available right now, and they're really better anyway because they don't get lost in somebody's backpack. They don't get left in their A-Day folder, which is with their best friend who's borrowing the notes. And anytime you want to access them, you can. So to look at online score reports, if a student already has a College Board account, they can access that account, and that's where they would start. Many students will not have a College Board account yet, and they will need to set one up. We are going around to all of the schools and helping students do this in the computer labs with adults to help them so that if they hit a glitch or they have a question, there's someone there that can help them. But this is the general process. They would go to studentscores.collegeboard.org to create the account. We're asking for students who are creating an account for the first time to use S and their ID number as their username and their birth date as the password. This way, when they're looking to find their scores next year and they've forgotten what their username is or their password, we can suggest that, and that will be true for a lot of students. So once you have gotten a College Board account or you have already accessed the one that you had before, you're going to select PSAT, then you're going to select Get My Scores, and click on the Add Score arrow, and you should be able to get it. In some cases, you may be asked for an access code. We have done a lot of experimenting with this because we've already been working with the juniors and have all the juniors through this process, and have found that when it asks for access scores for most students, they can enter their ID number, then log out of the program, log back into the program, and for some reason that works. To me, it's sort of like when you have trouble with your computer and you turn it off and you turn it back on, but we have found that that works in most cases to be able to get those. So when you get your scores, what are you going to get? That first page that you open up will look like this. So for this student, 810 is the student's total score. And he had a 540 in evidence-based reading and writing and a 270 in math. The scores for students that took PSAT 8 and 9, the highest score they can get is 1440. The highest score that students that took the PSAT and MSQT, that's the 10th and 11th graders, is 1520. This is a similar score that the student could expect to get if they took the SAT on the same day. And that's part of what they have done with the redesigned tests, is make the scores that they get on the PSAT match what their scores would be on SAT if they took it. So that can give you somewhat of an idea of where you stand. Now, this doesn't have a lot of information, it's just the basic information. For this student to find out more information about their scores, they would click on View Details, and there's a lot more details there. When you're looking at your scores and you say, is that a good score? That's what students always want to know, is that good? Whether you're looking at those big scores like your total score, or if you're looking at section scores, test scores, sub-scores, they're going to be reported on a graph that looks like this one, that has a red section and a yellow section and a green section. If your score falls in the red area for any particular part of the test, that's an area of weakness where you need to work on in building your strengths more. If your score falls in the yellow area, that means that you're almost there. You're really close, just a little bit of work, and you'll be up into the green section. Scores in the green section indicate that you are college ready in that area. And research indicates that students, 75% of students who are college ready in any area are successful in college the first year. So that's how you can kind of get a judgment if your scores are good or bad. Most students will have an area of strength and an area of weakness, and that can give you an idea of where you need to go next. On the score report, students also get a section that tells them their answers. It will tell them the question number, what the correct answer was, what their answer was, and whether that was an easy, medium, or difficult question. And looking at this can give the students a lot of information, because they can also look at the question itself. So students can look at questions that they missed, and there's all kinds of things that they could learn from that. Sometimes they will look at a question that they missed and read the question and go, well, I knew the answer to that, I just didn't understand that's what they meant. And so it can give some insight into what the test writers mean by the way they write their questions, because it may be different from the way that their teachers write their questions in class. So that's one thing they could learn. They could learn that they didn't have any idea how to answer that question, and they could take that question to the math or English teacher and get information on how do you answer that question, if there's one that's just nagging them. They can also look at how difficult the questions were. The test is a little tricky in that the easy, medium, and difficult questions are all mixed up. So a student may get a series of difficult questions and get frustrated and think, I can't do this, and there might be an easy question coming. By looking at their answers and whether those questions were easy or difficult, they can see if maybe that was a pattern, because this kind of test is not the usual thing that they take. They can also look and see if they answered every question. On this redesigned test and on the redesigned SAT, there's no penalty for guessing. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. So a student should never leave a question blank on this test. If you look at this and you see at the end of the sections there are questions you didn't answer, students, then that's a big mistake on your part. You need to manage your time so that when it's getting close to the end, the questions you haven't gotten to, you just hurry up and guess, because there's no penalty for guessing. There's no, if you leave it blank, you know that's wrong. If you pick an answer, you may be correct. And for some students, just one or two extra questions like that they guess correctly could make a difference in their score. So you might also notice if there are a lot of questions blank at the end of a section, that you need to manage your time more. Parents, these students are not accustomed to taking these timed tests. They go to the test and then the person reads the directions and they say, you'll have 20 minutes for this section. They're not used to that and figuring out what 20 minutes is. So time management is really important, and it's something that especially younger students who are building these skills over a number of years before they take their SAT, they're going to have a lot of good practice with that. But if you notice that there are blank questions at the end of a section, then you know that maybe you need to look at your time management a little more. That's something you can learn from looking at this section that has your answers. There's also a section in the online score report that I don't think is on the paper score report about AP potential. The College Board who writes the PSAT are the same people who write the AP. So they can look at your scores and say, here's an area you might do well in if you took this class as an AP class. Some of them may be obvious. You've always been in honors English, you did well in English, that says you should take AP English. That's not a surprise. But there may be some things in there that you weren't expecting. Many students that I have worked with have gotten on their AP potential that they would do well in psychology. They never thought about taking psychology. But AP psychology is a good course, and if a student does well and passes the AP exam, they can get college credit for that. There are many, many college majors that require some psychology, and to get that out of the way early would be a good thing. It's a way for students to realize some potential that maybe they didn't realize before by looking at AP potential. The school will also be encouraging students to take AP classes in areas where it shows that they have potential. If you get a paper score report, this is what the front of it looks like, parents. So if you haven't gotten one yet, your student hasn't gotten it yet, if you see a paper that looks like this, that's the paper score report, and it has most of the same information in it. Okay, so you've taken the test, and you look at your scores, and you learn what you can learn from that, but there's a whole lot more that you can get from this experience. Students will be helped to link their scores with Khan Academy, set up a practice plan and stick with it. It's sort of like setting up an exercise plan. You don't want to do it, and that little lazy voice in the back of your head might say you really don't want to do this yet, but you make a plan and you stick to it. You're going to have results. There are a lot of other resources on the College Board's website for students. And students, you need to continue to take challenging courses. Your best way to prepare for anything academic is to take the hardest class that you can take. People are not going to be overly impressed if you make all A's in regular level classes. You need to take the most difficult class you can so that you can challenge yourself, and you will have the most results from that in the long run. So we're really excited about this new partnership between the College Board and Khan Academy, because they are working together so that they know each other, so that Khan Academy understands the PSAT scores and all those little sub-scores that show your strengths and weaknesses, and then they can make a practice plan for you that's customized for what you need. We are helping students to link these accounts, so this is the steps that we go through. But just know that if you try this on your own and you have difficulty, we will be helping the student at school to do this if they have difficulty with it. So our students will log into Clever and at this website, and at Clever they already have an account, whether they realize it or not, and their username is S and their ID number. The password is their NPIN. So once they log in, then they click on the Khan Academy icon, and it looks like a tree. And it will ask them, do you already have a Khan Academy account? The answer at this point in time is no. Then it asks for an email address. If you want to enter an email address, you can enter an email address. But if you don't want to do that at that time, you can just click Not Now. Then the student will find subjects and the new SAT, answer a few questions. The questions will be things like, what's your zip code and which test are you wanting to study for? Then it'll say, log on to College Board, and you just follow the steps and it will link. When that happens, all of the students' PSAT information will be sent to Khan Academy, and a personalized plan will be made for that student by Khan Academy that will help them strengthen themselves in their weaker areas and maybe keep their skills in their strong areas as well. The main thing is that the quality of the help they get from Khan Academy is very high quality help. It's the kind of assistance for these tests that students can get from companies that charge a lot of money for that kind of tutorial without it being personalized. But this is personalized just for the student. They also have full-length SAT exams, so a student can do some of the prep work and say, I wonder if that has helped me yet. Take the practice SAT and see what their score is, see if it's gone up a little bit. It gives them feedback on their practice, and the practice is not just a bunch of questions and you answer them. There are videos where the math problems or English questions are explained like a teacher would explain them, so they can understand how to answer the question. Why is that the right answer? How do you find that? And all of that is available whenever the student is able to do the practice. For a lot of SAT prep in-person practice that a student might want, I know many students are very busy with their schedules, and they're involved in things at school and things at home and things in the community, and those schedules of those places don't always work for them. But this schedule will always work for them because it's available 24/7. Anytime they can get online, they can do it, and it's all free for them. And we're really excited about the potential for this for all of our students because there aren't enough adults to go around to get to all the students sometimes, but this is available for every student, and every student can have access to this. So why should you practice? What is the big deal about making a good score on PSAT or SAT? Well, a lot of money that you can get related to college is related to your PSAT, NMSQT score, or your SAT score. Now, when you get ready to plan for college, you'll find that many universities have their own scholarships that are just for students that are coming to them. A lot of those scholarships, the amount of the scholarship is based on your SAT score. So the higher SAT score you have, the more likely you are to get more money from the college if you qualify for the university scholarships. PSAT, NMSQT scores are used for students to qualify for national merit recognition. Students who get national merit recognition get more money in scholarships. They get, sometimes they can get a full ride at their college or get all of their tuition paid based on that score. And so it's not just some test that they take sometime. There are a lot of benefits for them directly for a long time into their future. Okay, so how much practice should you do? This company called Prep Scholar has done research on what kind of benefits students get from practice. Now, not just any practice, but remember that the practice they get from Khan Academy is specific to them, and it's purposeful and directed straight to what their needs are. They estimate from their research that 10 hours of practice would result in a 30 to 50 point gain on their scores, and that 20 hours of practice could equal 60 to 100 point gain on their scores. So the more a student practices, the more benefit they're going to get from that, especially the really good quality practice they can get from using the Khan Academy program. So this is really urgent for all of you juniors because most students take their SAT in the spring of their junior year. Where are my juniors out there? I talked to some of you. Okay. Remember that this spring right now, so it's time for you to take an SAT. And lucky for you, you go to school in this district. Garland ISD is going to pay for and provide the SAT for every junior in the district on March the 2nd. That's a school day. They come to school that day. They're going to have the opportunity to take that test for free. But that's just a month away. So if you are going to work on improving your scores, juniors, then you need to get busy and get on it right away because that test is coming up very soon. And if you get a good score on that you may be able to get a score that's all that you need for college. A lot of students take the SAT more than once, and so after March the 2nd, there are 2 more opportunities this school year, but those aren't free. So parents, we need your help encouraging those juniors to get their practice done between now and March the 2nd because That's coming up really soon, but they can potentially raise their score and benefit from this right away. So exactly, I was wondering, what are colleges looking for? You may or may not be aware that the school district has a program called Naviance. And this program does a lot of things to help students, but among other things, they can get college information. So I did some research on Naviance on what are the average SAT scores of students who are admitted to these Texas universities. And this is the data from the fall of 2014. So you can see what scores that you need. Now, students, the school you want to go to may not be listed here, but you should research what university do you think you want to go to? What scores are they looking for in their students? What's your score? Then you can make a plan on how much study you need to do to get your score to the point where it needs to be so you can go to the school of your choice. Now these scores are just for admission. Remember what I said, that universities have scholarships that are just for their students. I was looking today at Texas Tech, and for students who go to Texas Tech, if they have at least a 1200 on their SAT, then they can get $12,000 over 4 years scholarship money. For a 1250, that's just 50 points, they get $14,000 over those 4 years. That's $2,000. So based on the research from Prep Scholar, to get 50 points, you need 10 hours of prep. So 10 hours of prep, you make $2,000. That's $200 an hour, folks. It's worth the practice. You're not going to get a part-time job that's going to pay you that much money. So the district is giving all these opportunities for students, but it's up to the students to make it work. And parents, we need your help encouraging them at home to do this so that they're not going to miss any opportunities. Read your score report, connect it to Khan Academy. We will be at every student's school to help them do this. So if they have difficulty with it, we're going to help. Then set a goal based on whatever your goals are. What university do you want to go to? Do you want to be a National Merit Scholar? What score do you need? Make your plan for how much practice you need, and then just practice, practice, practice. We've given you the tools, we give you the encouragement, we give you whatever support that we can, and if you practice and work hard, it will pay off. And the district is committed to providing the support for students, and it's a fantastic opportunity that none of our neighboring districts have to the extent that we do.
Couple of things too, just so you know, and Khan Academy isn't brand new, just this month or something like that. When they opened this opportunity up in June, and the partnership with Khan Academy and College Board began, between June and the test that was in October, 600,000 kids in the United States got on and did that practice. So a lot of people are taking advantage of this, is my point. And we want our kids to take advantage of it too, because it's free and it's very valuable to all of our students. So we want you to take advantage of that.